Surprisingly enough, I have actually never seen this series, so unlike my other videos, this is much more of a first impression ramble than it is just a general ramble. I mostly talk about more adult series, except you, Star Wars. So I am excited to broaden the variety of this channel, which means we shall gatekeep How to Train Your Dragon for adults, that's right. I've also barely watched any American cartoons. I have seen a lot of the Dreamworks movies besides Shrek, the Shrek sequels. Yeah, I've never seen Shrek 2, guys, I know. I showed my girlfriend all of Star Wars, so I thought it was only fair she began to show me a bunch of stuff. But that doesn't mean I will not give my honest, boldest opinion, because now it's going on YouTube, and I gotta say, oh, and she gave me the appropriate watch order for the shorts in between the trilogy, and so I was gonna do everything How to Train Your Dragon related, but I did not realize the shows were over 5 seasons each. I decided not to do that. So the first movie is a modern classic Dreamworks movie. It came out in 2010 and was directed by Dean DeBlois, by Dean DeBlois. Oh, no, I didn't mean to sound like to make fun of it. LeBlanc. Sorry. All right. Sorry, Dean. LeBlanc. DeBlois. LeBlanc. God damn it. Okay, I'm not putting that in the video. Let's start with the character work. I just want to say, when I noticed TJ Miller and Jonah Hill's voice, it ruined some of the movie for me. I thought it was hilarious. I couldn't unhear it whatsoever. I try not to judge how fast-paced a kid's movie is because it's a kid's movie, and they gotta just be snappy with it. It's a kid's movie, but adults can watch this with a big, lovable grin on their face. A lot of arcs get wrapped in around like 5 to 10 minutes. Like Astrid being angry at Hiccup, that lasted like 10 minutes. So I thought that was kind of funny, which I am not used to after long, slower paced movies that I've been watching recently. Back to the characters. I love my sidetracks, by the way. Hiccup is honestly such a great character. A little funny, his accent's so minimal considering the setting. I guess it would be easier for audiences to digest. His actual character is very silly, the typical rebellious type in a children's film, you know it all. The underdog who's like very skinny, who wants to be the very best. The best one there ever was. He's very scrawny and small compared to all the Vikings, so he's looked down upon in tradition. And he has a woman love interest who is better than him in every way. Then once he bests her, she gets very upset and they fall in love after fighting Black Cat Energy Dragon Snickers. This kind of sounds like the plot to Human Kung Fu Panda, not gonna lie, I'm kidding. Until the love interest part, which doesn't really happen until like halfway through the movie. Hiccup is very charming though. Very hard not to like him. And he loves cute dragons, which makes it even easier for people to relate to him. Well, not relate, to sympathize with him. He also does the Chris Pratt thing in Jurassic World. This has a lot of tropes and cliches, yeah, but here comes my positivity, alright? It's a very simple movie, but all the executions are done so well. I mean, it's executed so well. Oops. I thought I wasn't going to get sold during the start of this movie. I was like, yeah, Vikings are cool, but cute dragon. Yeah, it was toothless. His introduction is priceless. I couldn't resist him either. I love that dragon. I really do. Won me over in a second. I am weak. Once Toothless came into the picture, I was hooked all the way throughout the movie. This movie has a lot of that Black Cat energy, so I see why it's so popular. If you want to make a lovable fantasy creature, just make it a cat. I also called Toothless Snickers the entire movie because I did not remember the dragon's name, and I don't know why, I just always thought his name was Snickers, like the Snickers bar.
Is this where we get Snickers? Wait, but not his name is not Snickers. Toothless.
Where the fuck did you get Snickers from?
I don't know. Like Snickers. I mean, fuck. Toothless would be.
Where the fuck is that coming from?
I'm still struggling with the fact that his name doesn't start with an S, at least. The soundtrack was something straight out of Lord of the Rings. That was the easiest one to get you guys to relate to, actually. I don't know what it sounds like. Maybe Skyrim. No, Skyrim is very more epic. With a very iconic theme song, Dreamworks has a lot of series under its belt with very recognizable themes and dramatic kids movies. What, does Shrek have a theme? No, Shrek doesn't have a theme song at all. It just has the fucking Smash Mouth songs. That one doesn't have a theme.
Thanks, Shrek. You're welcome, laddie.
This soundtrack is the best of the best fantasy soundtracks, is what I mean. It is whimsical and grand as it should be. And there are dragons. So many dragons.
We have more dinosaurs than you've ever seen in a Jurassic film. New dinosaurs.
There have never been more dinosaurs. Maximum amount of dinosaurs. You see dinosaurs in snow. You see dinosaurs in cities.
Seriously though, for a story about dragons, there is a lot of human connection and human bonds. So now let's talk about the scenery of the film. For the most part, it looks like a film made in 2010. But the best of 2010. That just doesn't make sense. All right, it looks great for its time. There are some shots I audibly just wowed at. That one scene towards the end where Dad Viking, who is played by the main guy from 300, Stoic, right? There are a lot of recognizable voice actors. But that scene with him looking at the cave revealing hundreds of dragons was so memorable for me. I actually just I was like, wait, that's cinema right there. That's oh my god. Oh, Jesus. I just love when kids' movies don't treat its audience like kids. Like, weirdly enough, right? It's more fun just to let the story flow and the scenes seep into your soul. I don't know if people talk about the romance aspect of these movies. I have no idea what's on this side of the internet. But I love that the falling in love aspect gets wrapped up so fast. And we just watch this happy couple do their thing for the rest of these movies. My favorite relationship dynamic is when they're just in love and work together and support each other until they die old. Side tangent, but I think after watching this movie, I realized I actually remember around the last 5 minutes of the movie where it ends with the team fighting against a giant gray blob dragon. That was all I remember from my childhood. I remember having it in my background back in 2010 and 2011 as a kid. I have no idea why I never got into the series, because I love dinosaurs and dragons a lot, but now I am here, watching it at the ripe age of 21. I rate the first How to Train Your Dragon movie a Snickers bar out of 10. Yeah, you'll be disappointed to find out I don't actually like to rate movies with numbers simply because people don't really get to hear what you have to say. That being said, 8 out of 10. Okay, here are those shorts I was talking about. This is How to Train Your Dragon, Legend of the Bone Napper Dragon. So yes, I decided to watch some of the shorts to see what I can dip my toes into. And this one was silly. I just love all the characters in general, and I'm a sucker for seeing them in general and anything. This little short called Legend of the Bone Napper, as you can imagine, has a singular bone napper. No, wait, that's a lie. As 2. Yeah, this short has a horny dragon coming after Gobber, and honestly, I get it. Anyway, this one implies that the undead are real and skeletons straight up exist. That's what it contributed. What else did this short contribute to the dragon's universe? Horny dragon. I rate this short a
Gobber, take off your pants.
out of 10. It's a quote. Don't actually do that unless you're already pantless, which is why are you?
It's right behind us, isn't it?
Oh my god.
Horny dragon. Here comes the second short, How to Train Your Dragon, Gift of the Night Fury. We got the silly little horny dragon special. Now we have the literal Christmas special. What did this short contribute? Well, Toothless can actually fly without Hiccup now. Never mind. I found it really sweet that Toothless chose to be with Hiccup and have them tied together by keeping the same wing Hiccup gave him in the first one. And they also commit dragon egg terrorism, which was cool. I thought that segment was hilariously done, and also these are way too wholesome for my liking. Like, I feel like the detective from Glass Onion after watching the most depressing, grimy shit I've ever seen in my entire life recently. Like, I am never talking about kid-friendly movies ever again, except for Kung Fu Panda. Now we have the Dawn of the Dragon Racers short. The short has a very different, uncanny animation style here, and they abused sheep for a while. Okay, this was a drag to watch, I'll be honest with you. I watched about half of it and then skipped to the next one. So I'm sorry to the people who love this a lot, and the fan base that some of these shorts offer, and the shows too. I'm sorry for not watching the shows. Weird little side tangent, but I used to be friends with someone who sounded exactly like Hiccup. So if any of you guys sound like Hiccup, please let me know, because I'm just curious. I've never heard anyone. Anyways, second movie, that was really weird. Second movie, which came out in 2014, still directed by Debois. I'm so I don't mean to do Dean slander. I don't mean to slander this director. I just can't say his name. Dean Debois. Whatever. I give up. Oh, Godzilla 2014 also came out this year. Keep that in mind. The movie starts off with some dragon racing, which I assume is a thing in the huge shows. I think came out after this movie, which I am not going to watch. But there is a time skip. They are about 20 now, which is insane. I thought they would stay teenagers. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm glad the series abides to the laws of time. So now I know we'll end up watching them grow old and die if they keep milking these movies. So there was pop music at the start of the movie, which baffled me for a hot second. I had to rethink if the first movie had any pop music in the first one, in that one. It didn't. I mean, the song is good. It just caught me off guard, and I don't think I liked that. Just don't scare me again, How to Train Your Dragon, ever. Is that Jon Snow? Okay, that was another jump scare. This is during a time when Game of Thrones was at its peak, so that makes sense. And there are dragons, I know. I can't believe we got an unintentional Game of Thrones cameo there, or storyline. Let's list some cool things that are in the movie first. There is a lightsaber that Hiccup has. I don't think it does much, but it's awesome the fact that he has it. Actually, it ignites super fire when he gasses up the place, so that's neat. Toothless is still very adorable, guys. Yes, don't worry. I find him very cute. There were a lot of moments in the movie where I was like, holy shit, the American Godzilla copy that's in King of the Monsters. He turns blue at the end of the movie in one of them. He has a bunch of monsters bowing to him after fighting a creature that is messing up the power dynamic. Toothless is American Godzilla. The ending of this movie is literally King of the Monsters. So this movie has two plot lines going on at the same time. The one with Hiccup and the one with Astrid. Usually when this happens, one of the storylines suck me out of the story because I'm so invested into one of them, into one that it becomes annoying when it changes, and that's not the case here. I like the main villain, Drago, which is the whole purpose of Astrid's storyline, introducing him and getting to know him. He had such a cool presence in the movie that I just did not come to expect when starting this little trilogy of movies, and wow, this guy Drago has some of my favorite primal screams ever. He just turns into a... Okay, he turns out to be kind of pathetic by the end, but his presence as a villain was simply awesome to watch unfold. Villain was super cool, and we deserved to get an actual villain after the last one. The last one was more character studies and man versus nature. Here it's both man versus man and man versus nature, or man and nature versus man and nature, or nature versus villain. And there was the dragon at the end, the dragon villain at the end, which to be fair is another big gray blob they fight at the end of the movie. Now, some of my favorite scenes. You're as beautiful as the day I lost you. The meme came from here. I caught it moments before it happened. It was wonderful to watch.
Wait, is this the one where it's like you're as beautiful as the day I lost?
I was happy for a bit until he died moments later, which was unfortunate. I will say I haven't watched a Dreamworks movie in so long that when that happened, my eyes just like widened just slightly a little bit. But seriously, that whole scene was heartbreaking to watch. Hiccup having a moment where he pushes Toothless away as he holds his dead father. Some really touching stuff for a kid's movie. Again, it sounds like a backhanded comment, but trust me, it's not. It also later cuts to his funeral, which is infinitely more depressing. That is how you do a death scene for a big character. Beautifully done. The music and atmosphere were for sure felt during these scenes. By the way, do you think Velka was supposed to be bigger? Since Hiccup's helmet was a piece of her breastplate, right? I just don't think that design really matches the image I had in my head. But I'll assume that she has an armored bra. Last scene that really stuck out to me emotionally was the scene where Hiccup just desperately pulls Toothless back into his senses. I've seen that trope a lot, but this one was done so well. It took me 2 movies to feel for these two. And guys, this trilogy is cheating. It's using a cat dragon, alright? That's why it made me feel a little bit. God, that scene was great though. That scene was amazing. Favorite scene in the trilogy so far? I would say this movie takes a more dramatic approach than the first movie and has a scarier antagonist like Kung Fu Panda. This is my favorite of the trilogy so far. I mean, there are only 3 of them. So I have no idea what's a controversial take or not. I'm sure all these movies are beloved. Yeah, I don't really know what the consensus of movies are before and after I watched them, so that's on me. Except for maybe Star Wars, sadly, which is the most depressing cesspool I've ever seen in my life. If I had to give it a rating for you guys, it would be a 10, honestly. This is a great movie. But am I going to remember this movie in a few years, actually? It's going back down to a 9 for me because I don't know if anything stands out in the way that it should. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna save the 10 just in case if the next movie blows my fucking... I mean, sorry, these are kids' movies. If it blows my mind, because I'm sure I'll remember the first one a lot better than the second one, but the second one's a lot more emotionally hitting and just great. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. This movie is Viking Journey to the West and the last movie of the trilogy already. This was certainly the more emotionally driven movie and written as a send-off to all these characters, and man was it powerful. I find it funny that these characters upgrade their gear from movie to movie as if it was a fantasy RPG. Cute touch, honestly. And How to Train Your Dragon released from 2010 to 2009, each releasing in the 2010s. Makes it seem like they're one of the staples of the 2010s. 2010 kids grew up on it. Now you guys are all adults, working some full-time jobs, finishing up your schooling, suffering as the economy. In this movie, there's a shorter time skip, but so much more changed and evolved from the last movie, from plot to animation-wise. Thought the plot of this movie was just all in all great. Some inconsistencies and flaws, yes, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I personally love more character-driven material, and this is, it's because it was mainly Toothless's movie, I'll be honest with you. It's his coming-of-age story and being an extremely horny dragon, which was weirdly foreshadowed in one of the shorts. Toothless meets his female counterpart in this movie, the Light Fury, which, sure, why not? I like it with most of these animations, but like the third or second movie, it's like, let's have the main guy or girl and have like a opposite gender counterpart to them, like a mirror, you know? It's like, huh. What would they be like if they were a woman? I just think it's a funny touch. A dragon has never been as relatable until now. Fumbling terribly. Now we have 2 cat dragons. This is getting out of hand. I love them both. It was very cute seeing Toothless trying to test his love game, failing upwards through the whole movie, and then serenading her with his art skills, which was something reoccurring during this movie. That was an actual theme that he got better and better with art, which proves to me that these dragons are sentient. These dragons are sentient. They are not animals in the normal sense. But yeah, I just didn't expect it to be used to impress a girl. I am seriously a sucker for these kinds of stories though, where a parent has to let go of their kid. Just resonates with me emotionally. And I don't even have kids. I think the villain here has a lot more of a presence, just by being calmer and having more fun with everything. Him having fun just makes him scarier and more fun to watch as well. I expected this movie to be my least favorite though, from friends telling me or whatnot, but it turned out to be my favorite of the bunch. It's hard to speak on the animation atmosphere on these movies because there's always going to be an upgrade for animation from each movie to movie with the test of time and everything. I think we're at the limit now. I'm not sure. Like, it's only going to get slightly better, but we'll see. There's a clear upgrade from technological advancements, so I can't speak on it. Fancy way of saying this movie is the prettiest. They ended it with a spectacle, and I am all here for it. Oh yeah, Tough Nut gets more screen time during the movie after they replaced TJ Miller. I just thought that was kind of funny. To be fair, the side characters are more involved in this movie in general, weirdly having their own little arcs wrapped up by the end because this is the final movie. I say final with like quotation marks because nothing ever really ends anymore. Name one thing that actually ends, like completely, and no more of that thing ever was made again. Even the most obscure shit. Guys, don't actually start naming stuff though. You're gonna prove me wrong and I'm just gonna be upset. But it's gonna happen, alright? It's that theory is gonna come true in at least 10 years. They also addressed one of the shorts, which was fun for me, even as a side little comment. That scene where it's mentioned with that Hiccup essentially did try to replace Toothless's wingtails from one of the shorts, and Toothless chose not to. It was just nice having that come back into one of the movies. Little stuff like that makes the journey a little more worth it. Like, even for other stuff I binge, like the little binges. And no, I'm still not doing the shows. Now, the title of the movie appears in about the last third of the film. The Hidden World. Wow. The Hidden World. That was the spectacle I was talking about. Every scene during this section was stunning to watch. So stunning to watch. The final battle is purely just fan service, but fan service to the point where it wraps the good guy's story and all. You know, it's like, yeah, we're at the end of this trilogy. Let's just throw everything there and get it over with. Like, we can't have all the good guys just witness tragedy at the last movie. It's also not what the themes are going for. We even got a scene where Hiccup is about to fall to his death. You're like, oh god, it's gonna end in a tragedy. It just 180s, and Light Fury saves him, and the familiar music starts playing with the same imagery, with her looking down at him. The feels are feeling a little, I will say. I will say the final act kind of ruins Grimmer for me. He becomes really silly and generic. It's kind of sad. His whole character was really fun. Like the whole scene where Tough Nut's twin sister, frick, what's her name? It just bothers the hell out of him in a jail cell, and he's like, leave, you most annoying creature I've ever come across. I love that scene so much. This movie's great. I think the comedy aspect in these movies like are pretty cute. They hit me a little bit. They make me smile, or like have like a little giggle. You get a little giggle out of me. Honestly, that's a lot coming from like a children's movie. Yeah, this is a rating on my levels of enjoyment anyway. The whole ending of this movie really felt like a full package. Really nice, happy send-off for most characters, especially with that time skip at the end of the movie where Astrid and Hiccup have kids in the future and reunites with Toothless again after so many years. It's things like that. It doesn't always have to end in just happiness. It's nice to come across this pure, just sugary end to it all. A whole full package of a trilogy. I'm a very simple guy. 10 out of 10 for me for the Hidden World movie. But it's not over yet. We got Christmas Special Part 2, How to Train Your Dragon Homecoming. This short serves as the lead up towards the time skip ending of the third movie, showing how future generations will forget actions of the past and all the hard work there used to be, unless you show them, demonstrate to them. I can word it better, but I won't. It was really nice. It was a nice, sweet message between passing on generations, showing what past generations did know. I like how every movie has a cute little message for the children. I won't give the more adult movies the same treatment, unfortunately. But the short is just parenting issues in a nutshell. From Hiccup and Astrid to Toothless and the Light Fury. Also pretty sure Gobbler is a little on the fruit side. I didn't bother to mention it until now. Just a little bit of fruit, like a cherry. The best scene in this story was with Toothless realizing Hiccup's daughter was Hiccups. It connected with her for a moment, which was just, oh, that was such a beautiful scene. His eyes opening up and just happiness. But yeah, with that, the only series I've ever seen with a consistently healthy relationship is over.
That's nasty.
This has not aged well.
But yeah, I have now finished all the How to Train Your Dragon movies. Not that impressive considering it's only 3 movies, but I made the video anyway. For me, I think the movies get better and better as they go on, scaling and emotionally. If the shows are good and you guys have seen them, tell me about it. This has been a really fun watch for me personally. I might even do Shrek someday, since I've only seen the first one of that silly series. Now give me that subscribe button so you can watch me suffer talking about franchises too long for my brain to handle. There's some series out there, franchises, and I'll talk about them. So, about the live-action remake, am I gonna see this movie? Probably. I mean, it'll just end up being the same movie all over again, making the franchise popular to keep the IP running or to run a theme park, so there's no real point to making a video on it unless I talk about the effects of the movie or how impressive the CGI has become, or some silly controversy. I get it, honestly, it gets a lot of hate, but most of these remakes end up getting a lot more casual viewers. Casual viewers don't really care about this kind of stuff, so let's end this on a more wholesome note. What I love about this franchise, I genuinely love the bonds between the dragons and the characters portrayed here. I bet this movie speaks a lot more to anyone who owns a pet. These movies are definitely made for you, or to hurt you. I also don't think the portrayal of these dragons are animalistic in any way, besides like cats, I guess. They're weirdly human-like to me, or the way humans want animals to perfectly act, or so it's easier to sympathize with them, I think. That goes for any media with animals, because it's hard to keep animals more animalistic in media for some reason. Well, you know the reason. Plot reasons. I think a powerful takeaway is the fact that the movie doesn't stray away from such a raw form of love between a human and an animal. Especially, yeah, and that's the most important part. So if I had an extra comment, it ought to be about love. Go love your friends, family, and if you got none of that, love yourself. Okay, see you later.